Alright, there we go. We are live. Good morning, everyone. Gonna get them things set up here and then we'll be on our way. Early this morning. Okay, do we have any viewers on the stream yet? If so, go ahead and give me a heads up. Just posting the stream link to social media at this time. Okay, first viewer, welcome in. Hello, how are you doing? Just posting my links out to Facebook, Blue Sky, and Twitter right now. So anyone who's coming in, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, go ahead and leave them in the chat box down below. So I know it's a little bit early on a Monday morning, so I'm not expecting a huge audience. But I did get some feedback from some of my viewers on Facebook, and they said that they'd like to have this stream go early this morning today. So we will work with that. So in the meantime, for anyone just jumping on, currently looking at satellite with radar overlaid right now. So far, the rain timing is definitely well ahead of what the models have been showing. Models have been showing us getting the rain anytime between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. We started getting measurable precip here in Milton as soon as 5 a.m. this morning. Is way ahead of time. So we're looking at some moderate to heavy rain showers up here in BC. Some light to moderate rain showers here in the southwest interior, parts of the South Sound, moving up to the Central Sound at this moment. This is the most recent radar scan that I have. So moderate rain showers over the Olympia area. Some isolated heavier pockets over Centralia, the Grand Mound. And this is the back edge of the front right here. And then the satellite is showing some areas of isolated showers, possibly some embedded thunderstorms behind this as well. See, this is an unstable, cool and moist air mass behind this front, and a warm and drier air mass ahead of the front. But that has since been shoved out by the front. So this cooler, moist air mass that supports unstable air aloft moves in shortly after this back edge of the front comes in. But then watch what happens right after that. We already have this developing system undergoing the baroclinic leaf stage of cyclogenesis. So it develops exactly what it says it is. It's a leaf, a baroclinic leaf right here. So it's certainly going to be our next area of interest right there. And I don't know why my Windy Premium's not signed in, so bear with me on that. Anyways, here's the system that has the associated cold front. Along with it, moving into the Gulf of Alaska. And this is the jet stream extension right down here. This is where the next system's going to get caught up into. And then I do believe that this is our next system forming right here. Yeah, getting all the socials out real quick. Okay, Jaw George, good morning. Welcome to the stream. Morning from Oso. Pretty heavy periodic dumps being by the mountains. Yes, I do believe it. I don't know if you were here just a minute ago when I was talking about this, but how the front has seemed to beat the weather models on timing so far. A lot of this precipitation wasn't expected originally to make it in until about 9 or 10 a.m. this morning. And it started making it in between 5 and 6 this morning. So let's go check out some models while I'm up here too. So let's go to the 5 p.m. NAM 3KM. So yeah, I mean, I think we got to go back a little bit further. Yeah. There we go, because on the 11 a.m. run yesterday, it didn't have a lot of these showers making it in till between about 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. or so. And then this has also been picking up on the chance of isolated thunderstorms around the area as well. This would be 6 p.m. tonight, but this was 3 runs ago. And then boom, the next system's on our doorstep just like that. Let's compare that to the 0Z. So 0Z definitely picked up on this a little better. Six Z's marginal at best. A lot of this precip wasn't reaching the ground right away, as seen here, because of how dry the air mass was ahead of those showers. So it would take quite a bit of heavier precip to really erode that dry slot above the ground around here. So see, it wasn't even showing measurable precipitation around the South Sound for the most part until about 11 a.m. See, and then on the most recent 12Z, this is 5 a.m. this morning. Most recent 12Z didn't have measurable precip around until almost noon. See, if I switch between precipitation total for 1 hour and the radar, doesn't exactly line up, right? That's just because a lot of the showers ahead of the front here would evaporate before getting to ground level, just because of that previous warm and dry air that we had yesterday that still wasn't completely scoured out yet. If that makes any sense. And so it would take the heavier constant precip behind this front to really start to moisten up that dry slot layer near the surface. And this is the first time I've seen this model this morning, the 0Z run. Definitely looks like it has an outside storm chance farther south now. Maybe a little convergence feature up north here from Skagit through Island to Jefferson counties, perhaps. But I'm not seeing much of a confident convergence zone signature so far. And then this is the next system, so I'll zoom out a little bit to see if I can get a better view of that. Yeah, so this is today's system coming through. You see, it picks up on that little isolated thunderstorm possibly crossing the Columbia right there. And then we get a little break, but then that next front is right on our doorstep within about 18 hours or so. So this would be 2 p.m. on Tuesday. Oh, the front is out of here by, let's see, so today is Monday, so this would be tomorrow. So this is today. This is 5 p.m. today. And that front's out of here by the time we go into nightfall. And within a couple hours after that, boom, next front shows up on the coastal radar. And this front is expected to make landfall sometime around 1 to 2 p.m. And as you can possibly see here on the radar echoes as well, there's definitely a good chance of some isolated lightning strikes. And if you guys watch Pacific Northwest Weather Watch as well, Michael's streams, been talking about the chance of water spouts within some of these cells off the coast. It's because we've got a lot of wind shear within this low pressure system moving on shore. So it's gonna sit off the coast for a little bit and then gradually weaken and then start to move onto the coast. But it's gonna be a shell of itself. Surprisingly already have some big puddles. Yeah, so I don't know if I have any measurable precip so far. I can look that up real quick. Hang on. Yeah, my home weather station's just right down the road at my previous headquarters. Let me pull this right back up real quick. Yeah, so we got a trace so far, a trace of precip. 96% relative humidity. Temperature is 57.9 degrees, 56.8 degree dew point. Pressure is really low now. It says it's the equivalent of right around 1,000 millibars or so. It'd be nice if I was able to switch between units on here. But yeah, a sharp drop in pressure here since this morning. And see, we're starting to get some of that sunlight trying to get through. Not too much of it right now, though. So wind direction was out of the east, and then it shifted out of the west as soon as that front started coming over. Actually have a pretty impressive audience so far. Definitely doing better than some of my last couple streams. So, alright, for anyone coming in, hello, my name's Anthony. You guys probably know me as the founder and host of Puget Sound Stormwatch, so welcome everybody. Thank you very much. Ooh. Already got a little bit of drama on my page this morning. Will that wind coming in do a back roll up the mountains since you mentioned such activity off the coast? So that's a good question. Let me see if I can pull it up on here real fast. Let's go to surface wind speed. This is about 33 feet off the ground, so 32.8 feet to be exact. Yeah, it's a really good thing to see people coming to my defense. Just for someone being a real drama queen on Facebook right now. Always fun having some drama here in the morning. Okay, hey, good morning everybody. Welcome in. Lindsay Bottenbird says good morning. Good morning to you. Amanda Osborne, good morning. Any significant wind or some thunder and lightning in Island County? So it's a good thing you brought that up, Amanda. I was just going to answer George's question here. So their question was, will that wind coming in do a back roll up the mountains? I'm guessing you mean from west to east, right? So sort of push from the lower elevation and then be forced up to the higher elevations, if I'm understanding correctly. Seems to be super common. Yeah, so there's a person on my Facebook page right now. I'm not gonna name any names, but if you're on Facebook, feel free to go to a post that I posted 12 hours ago about the cold front, saying that weather dramatization isn't helpful. So I asked the person to please inform me how it was dramatization. And he said, quote unquote, storm watch and exclamation points. How about just the weather? Well, first of all, storm watch is in the name. That's just the slogan. You know, not once did I mention the word storm in my post. And I only have one exclamation point. So a lot of dramatization on his part, unfortunately. But luckily, a couple of people have already come to the defense. So thank you. Thank you, everybody, for that. Means a lot, truly. But anyways, back to the questions about the wind. So yes, that's what they mean. Okay, so we're looking at 5 a.m. this morning. This is ahead of the front. So some wind coming out of the east, you know, out of the southeast, moving up towards the northwest. So a lot of this is being forced out through the Strait of Georgia. So depending on your locale here around Western Washington, it's mainly going to be due south along the coast, a little bit out of south-southeast here in the South Sound, and then more out of the southeast as you go north. Then as the day goes on and this front starts to come in, you're going to notice the wind starts to come out of the south ahead of that main frontal boundary. And sustained winds will increase here along the open waters near Whidbey Island, over what a lot of people call the Salish Sea nowadays. I still personally call it the Admiralty Inlet, but a lot of people call it the Salish Sea now. And then after this front comes through, winds are going to shift back a little bit out of the southwest, still come out of the south a bit, and then curve towards the northwest ahead of this next frontal system. And then between frontal systems, they come back out of the east or the southeast the farther north you are. And so it's going to be a little bit tricky to predict exact wind speeds between systems. Because see, this is the next system here. This is tomorrow at 7 p.m. So this is around the time the next front's going to pick up. And you can already see stronger sustained winds. These are not gusts, by the way. These are sustained winds, not counting gusts. It has 35 mile per hour sustained winds out of the southeast up here near Victoria. And these are, see the max, it says 45.9 down here. So these are anywhere between 40 to 50 mile per hour sustained winds off the southern coast. And these winds are going to hang on for a bit as well. Like this is going all the way into Wednesday afternoon now. We still have sustained winds of 30 miles per hour here near Victoria, BC. So now if we switch to gusts, probably going to tell a much greater story than this. And I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you can see the coast as well. There we go. So this is the state level. So I can already tell you these models have severely underperformed up in Whidbey Island. Because I have confirmed from several sources. I posted this on my Facebook page story as well. I saw a 51 mile per hour gust here at the Whidbey Naval Air Station, which is where my pointer is right here. And for the time that we got it, it's only showing anywhere between about, 30 to 40 miles per hour. And we officially hit 51 miles per hour at that station this morning. So it's underdoing it by 10 miles per hour up at that point already. So it does seem that at least the NAM model that I'm using, the NAM 3KM, has started to downtrend on max wind gusts with each run. So let me switch it to max gust swath right now. And then this is after the main front has passed. So it shows anywhere really between 25 to 30, some spots higher, 25 to 30 mile per hour wind gusts around the Puget Sound. Then the 0Z kind of upticks a few of these spots a bit, but keeps a lot of the South and Central Sound the same, 25 to 30 miles per hour. Then the 6Z, this is the 11 p.m., a few spots bumped up to 30, but not much change overall. And then 12Z has definitely, it's brought down the coast quite a bit, but has increased some areas of the inland waters between the San Juan Islands and Whidbey Island. So the calm rain will probably go nuts. Yeah, it's not going to be too calm, and I got to bring this up now as well, just because the wind gusts aren't going to be considered windstorm strength, doesn't mean it's not going to be damaging in any way. Because, not all the trees have lost their vegetation yet. So there's still going to be a lot of leaves and foliage on trees. Even though it is fall, technically astronomical fall has just started within the last week or so. So it's not the same as meteorological fall when it's supposed to feel like fall. Obviously, it hasn't felt like fall yet until today. Just because it's been warm and dry for the most part. We haven't gotten out of the 70s. Very low dew points, low relative humidities. That's been fueling fire behavior big time, especially east of the Cascades. So, due to all that drought stress, and just overall, dry conditions, the trees and whatnot will get brittle, and their roots will start to loosen up quite a bit. So, it'll take just one decent gale of wind from the right direction, the right strength, and so on, to just start bringing trees down like that. And this is especially a bigger threat down in Oregon, too. I've seen the NWS in Portland mention the chance of power outages. There are power outage chances the next few days, but it's too soon to say when and where. It's really just a matter of, I'm going to say, if you're along the coast, the strait, or the inland waters up here in the northwest interior, so Salish Sea, Admiralty Inlet, Strait of Georgia, and whatnot, do be prepared for the slight chance of power outages, because it may not look strong on models, and the winds may not sound strong, but as we go into the future, this is through the next frontal system, so Wednesday at 5 p.m. See, it's got wind gusts over 70 miles per hour here off the coast, which is just madness already. It's got just about 50 miles per hour here at the Quileute Airport, so near La Push. 54 miles per hour here at Hurricane Ridge. Let me zoom in a bit because I'm trying to see what that number is near Friday Harbor. Okay, so 50 miles per hour at Friday Harbor, 47 miles per hour on Orcas Island. 49 just off the coast of Victoria, BC. And it's got some areas of stronger gusts here as well. So 43 for Chehalis, 42 for Olympia, 38 for Lewis, 36 JPLM, 35 South Hill, 37 Tacoma Narrows, 37 SeaTac, 37 Boeing, 35 Payne Field and Everett, 40 up here in the Mount Vernon area, 41 at Bellingham. This is through the next frontal system. So let me go play by play, hour by hour here. So anyways, to answer the original question from Jaw George, it doesn't seem like it'll do a back roll up the mountains just because the wind's mostly coming from the south, going to the north. If it was coming out of due west, then I'd be concerned with some of that upslope wind activity. But since you're in the foothills anyway, you should be sheltered from the strongest of wind from most of these cold front events that we get. Just because the wind mainly comes out of the south ahead of cold fronts, it's behind the cold front where it shifts out of the west usually. That's when you gotta be worried about it. But it doesn't look like there's really a textbook shift out of the west. It just kind of looks like, okay, it switches a little bit out of the southwest, but it doesn't, at least up in Snohomish County, it just doesn't look like it comes out of the west at all up there. Gonna stay mainly out of the south, but coming out of the east between the frontal events. And I wholeheartedly believe that this next frontal system is the only thing saving us from a big east wind event out of this next system. Okay, James Alexander, if you're in here, thank you very much for your $20 donation. I do very much appreciate that. So by chance, Jaw George, does your first two letters stand for James Alexander, perhaps? Because I think I'm starting to catch on to something here. I'm going to guess that's an abbreviation for James Alexander, but please do feel free to correct me. Just want to make sure I have the right person in here. So yeah, these are sustained winds I'm looking at right now. So let's go back to today's system. So pretty strong sustained winds here in the 25 to 30 mile per hour range here over the open waters. This is 9 a.m. So far already outperforming the models here. Then winds mainly out of the south. Okay. No, sorry, Julie Ann. Okay. Thank you for the clarification. It was just a huge coincidence that the person that donated was also, also had a JA name as well. So thank you for clarifying that. But anyways, James Alexander, if you are in the stream, I'd like to give a huge thanks to James Alexander for his $20 donation. I'm going to guess, so we're going to go to my coffee.com page right here. I thought maybe it would have been sent in the form of coffees. So this is just one way if you guys want to help the page. Because right now things are kind of tough financially. It's not going as smooth as I thought, just because I've had a lot of stuff coming up recently. Just like having to fly out twice within a 2-week period to end August, which was my first month going full time. I'd like to give a huge shout out to Sherry Wilcox for being the first one to donate 5 coffees. So thanks to that really helped out a lot for me. So I do appreciate that. And also on Patreon. So this is another way of seeing my blogs. So I do have my Facebook, obviously, and a lot of people have come from my Facebook. But for those that don't have Facebook that still want to see my blogs, I do post all of my blog posts to Patreon as well, and the links are in the description. I'd like to give a shout out to, let me see if I remember who their name is. No, but there is, okay, actually I do remember. Give a huge shout out to Lisa Seckler for being my first paid member on Patreon. So it's only $1.99 a month. I call it the Intro Forecaster tier. But so this is like my most recent blog right here. This is a public one. And then I have one of the locked ones here. And I'll give you guys a quick little look at this real quick, just to see what you guys can expect. So this is something that I posted on my Facebook subscriber page as. Hang on, just reading a new comment real quick. Amanda says, "Thank you, Anthony. Living on Camino, I can say for sure it's not always about the wind. Sometimes the rain does just as much damage when it comes to trees. Appreciate your reports. Thank you." Yes, thank you, Amanda, for tuning in. Thank you very much. If you're on Facebook as well, go ahead and give Whidbey Island Weather a look. It's a group run by a guy named Jonathan Poley. Really great guy. I haven't met him yet. I just know who he is. I've heard of him from other guys. He runs the Whidbey Island Weather page. And I believe he's also on YouTube, but he doesn't use it as much. West Coast Weather, I believe. West Coast Weather or West Coast Weather Watch. But if you guys are on Facebook, go ahead and give Whidbey Island Weather a quick look over. Of course, if you're on Camino or Whidbey Island, because it covers Island County altogether. So this was my most recent post on the locked tab. So ensemble models are still in good agreement with the strength, timing, and track of Tuesday to Wednesday system. Now I'm saying although the strongest winds will stay over the waters, models still show gale force winds working their way inland. Wind gusts in the 40 to 45 mile per hour range are starting to pop up along I-5 through the entirety of western Washington. The main difference with today's ensemble and deterministic model runs is the farther northward track. I say this because some of the models wanted to bring this system down into central Oregon, but it wouldn't stay at the full strength. It would quickly diminish. So this system's probably going to stay stationary for a little bit. It's not going to move much to the northeast or south, So it's going to hang off the coast and then start to move in as soon as it's a little fizzly little area of low pressure. So it's going to be like this little microcosm of what it was, and then it's going to move in, and that's going to bring some rain and wind, but nowhere near as intense as if it were full strength like this. So how to read this map, for example. Though this is the European ensemble mean, or the average of all members. So the European uses 50 different members and a control run. It averages everything out and then combines it into one solution. So in this case, this shows the location of the area of low pressure. So it shows almost all 50 for the most part, except for way out here. So it shows about 25 to 30 of these members, all in this general vicinity here. And I don't know how well you guys can see it, but these numbers are all different. So this is the prediction of where the area of low pressure is going to be at what point in time and what strength. And so it averages them out and gives you one solution. So the average of these members is where this light green circle is in here. And so it predicts that this system is going to make landfall somewhere in northern Vancouver Island. That's how to read that. And so that's something that you can look at. If you want to pledge the $1.99 a month to help me out, I post a lot of those, usually once or twice a day. They're more so like hypothetical forecasts. So it's what a lot of us call fantasy land. Just because it's not for certain, but it is to bring some awareness of what could happen at what time. Let me go and compare this to the HER model as well. So this is the high resolution rapid refresh model right here. This is the 12Z to 5 a.m. run. This is the one that goes out to 48 hours, so we should be able to see ahead of this next front as well. Let's just switch it to wind gust swath. And yeah, completely different story on the HER 3KM. Let me just compare it to the NAM 3KM. Let me see if I can bring it up on this other... No, I can't. Okay, never mind. So I'm just going to go back and forth here. And a different story, especially the farther south you go. And I have to keep switching to the 12Z for this. But it does have some areas of stronger wind gusts down south and west. So particularly here in the Willapa Hills region of Pacific County, parts of the Nisqually River Valley, the Cowlitz River Valley, and a lot of the intercoastal waters here near near Victoria, BC. So it'll be interesting to see which model prevails in this case, because it looks like the HER 3KM's definitely upticking a lot of these spots here. See, like a gust anywhere between 45 to 50 miles per hour would be really harsh on the trees and all of the dry terrain here along I-5. Like really anything 40 and up right now is what we would consider concerning for this time of year. If it was out in November or December like these storms usually are, then we wouldn't have to worry much about tree damage because the roots are saturated enough to really help the trees anchor in place. And the trees also don't have the foliage on them as well. So not a lot for those branches to catch onto the wind and be dragged down by the wind. So a little bit of a concerning signal here with the HER 3KM model. Anyways, to go over a quick summary real quick of what this model's showing. So this is showing 45 miles per hour for Whitby, 46 miles per hour for Bellingham, 42 for Mount Vernon, Burlington area, 39 for Everett, 35 for Arlington, 38 for SeaTac, 36 Renton, 42 JBLM, 43 Fort Lewis, 42 Shelton, 43 Bremerton, 47 Olympia. And these are all gusts, by the way. These are all wind gusts. So 46 for Chehalis, 45 Toledo area. And of course, much higher for Mount Rainier. That's just a given. All the rigorous terrain. Then 56 for Hurricane Ridge. And then some areas of 50 plus out here in the Jamestown area of Squim, just east of Squim. Possibly some areas close to 50 miles per hour here along Chuckanut Drive, just south of Bellingham. And then these are 55 to 60 mile per hour gusts here along the Strait of Georgia near Victoria, BC. So really interesting to see these signals pop up this morning, because it wasn't showing a lot of this last night. These are all more so new developments. You know, the one thing I noticed too, the HER3 cam definitely downplays wind gusts for today, but it also has severely underdone this gust near Whidbey. For anyone just tuning in and doesn't know, we did record an official 51 mile per hour wind gust here at the Whidbey Naval Air Station this morning, which not a single model has shown that. So just to tell you that you don't always want to trust the weather models. It's just for a basis. You know, it's just so you know the foundation of what could happen, and you know your ceiling, your ceiling and your floor for the events. And it's always important to communicate the ceiling and the floor and the difference between them. So what this HER3 cam model is showing here is it's showing the peak wind gusts sometime between 4 and 6 p.m. for most of western Washington tomorrow. And this is ahead of the next incoming frontal system. So in order to see it in clearer detail, I'm going to switch to the deterministic model here. So the deterministic doesn't have as high of a resolution, but it does go out way farther in time. And this also failed to pick up that 51 mile per hour gust this morning. And it does show lighter end gusts compared to the higher res models, but I would be taking this solution with a grain of salt. But we really have to zoom out and go and look at the surface pressure reading to see what's happening, because see, it shows just a monstrous mid-latitude cyclone here in the next 24 hours. May have to zoom out even farther. Yeah. So, see, this system really hasn't even started developing yet. And it undergoes a really rapid development cycle. Like, this could even be pushing bombogenesis status at one point. Just trying to see what the pressure readings are over 24 hours. Because if it drops 24 millibars in 24 hours, then it's considered a bomb cyclone. Although, see, watch this. It won't make landfall anywhere near us at that intensity. So the models show it hanging just off the Vancouver Island coast going into Thursday. And it's a really slow mover from this point on, but it just loses strength before it moves in. It actually wants to bring it into central Vancouver Island now, so a little farther south. Which is probably why some of these models are upticking the wind amounts a little bit. Let's see, it goes in about... Yeah, so these are 3-hour increments we're looking at here. So 8 frames is the equivalent of 24 hours. And also, you pay attention here, you can see the two storms here, the hurricane as well as the tropical storm. You know, you can actually see those both bounce out to sea too, which is pretty cool to see. See, as soon as it moves north into the Bahamas, it immediately goes into a stall and then bounces back out to sea just like that. And if you go to the end of the model run here, this is 6 days out, starting to show that concerning ridge signal again. What does that mean exactly? perhaps another chance of warmer than average and drier than average weather around here. Be really interesting to see how that develops over time. Because at least the European model does want to show that same solution. Now, if we go to the American model, this is the GFS. See, pretty similar story here. Got a 975 millibar low in around the same place at around the same time as the European. And see, exact same thing with the Canadian too. So we have really, really good agreement between all the models here. This is the artificial, this is the artificial intelligence model here. And see, all of them show almost the exact same scenario. See, even the ensemble forecasts show a similar solution too. This is really, really impressive. See, the GFS and the artificial intelligence, and even the Canadian, everything is just the exact same time, almost the exact same spot, like within miles of each other. I can't remember the last time I've seen model agreement this good on something. I just gotta answer a question on Facebook real quick, so hang on, bear with me. Okay, there we go. Got that out of the way. All weather is climate. Every season it changes. Not necessarily true. I'm going over this sort of troll comment on Facebook as well. Yeah, I think it's time to shut comments off on that post. You know, it's unfortunate that sometimes I have to, do some hardcore moderation, but one thing I'm going to do is keep the peace at all costs. So I'm not going to take any negativity, and especially no politics on my pages. That's just the rule that I set. All right, anyways, let's zoom in a little bit to the Pacific Northwest quadrant. So let's go back to the deterministic. Yeah, so even at 1004 millibars, if this were to be about 100 miles farther to the southeast, then we'd be talking about some problems around here. However, it does look like the strongest winds will be averted to off the coast, which is good news. See, it does have some areas of 40 to 45 mile per hour gusts in here, but it keeps all of the damaging gusts way off the coast. Ooh, boy. Sure got some drama this morning. All right, and I see a new forecast video was released by Benjamin Yurkovich of Washington Weather Chasers. So if you guys want to see that, go give a look at the Washington Weather Chasers YouTube channel. They also have a really popular Facebook page, almost 90,000 followers. Yeah. Sorry guys, need to take a water break real quick. It's been way too long without water. Oh yeah, 45 minutes. Nah, don't recommend that at all. 45 minutes without drinking water. It's not smart. Looking outside the window, I got some light rain showers at the moment. Let's go back and look at the radar satellite. Yeah, so a few areas of heavier precipitation working their way into the central sound right now. This is moving mainly to the northeast, I'd like to say. And also, thank you all for liking the stream, too. It's really helping that algorithm big time. Yeah, so I'm thinking about what's coming up in October, because I'd love to continue doing this full time, but it's currently not sustainable. You know, it's been a real hassle trying to make sure that the bills are paid since I do this full time. You know, it's a challenge I wanted to undergo and experiment with. But if it keeps going like this, I may have to step down full time and go back to full time work outside of the web. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, sometimes you just got to say it is what it is. But I'm hoping things go better in October. The viewership was way down for September. And I mean down like 50 to 60% across all metrics. You know, and I'm guessing a lot of it is just because of the inconsistencies on this YouTube channel. And I have to point the blame, a lot of it, towards my declining mental health, for sure. It's something I don't always talk about and usually don't want to talk about, but I do have to address it. You know, so that there's no concern going forward. You know, I just got to say everything's got to be fine. Everything is going to be just fine. I just got to figure out a few things. And so, you know, I just can't wait for September to be over. And looking forward to the last quarter of 2025. Because maybe in October, I can flip the script entirely and get something really going here. And I'd also like to thank the subscriber on YouTube I got about 15 minutes ago. I never actually mentioned that. So we're currently at 462 subs and counting. So thank you to the new subscriber. Just bouncing around Facebook, other social media at this time. Looking to see if anyone has any questions. I know quite a few people have migrated over from Facebook. definitely trying to do these live streams more. You know, I'm not quite up to monetization here on YouTube yet, but YouTube monetization would help tenfold with this for sure. It's just, you know, times are tough right now. And just trying to work through it. So, thank you everyone who has bared with me through this kind of rough time. Just got a new radar scan as well. So, a little bit heavier rain here over the Key Peninsula. Thankfully, getting some heavy rain here over the Tunnel Creek fire as well. That reminds me as well. Let me pull up the new page for the fires. This is Watch Duty. So this shows updates on all the currently burning fires down here. So the Bear Gulch, for example, at 20,173.1 acres. See, it jumped the forest quite a bit. I'm guessing this is a little creek. It jumped the creek and started burning on some areas across this creek right here. Then the Tunnel Creek looks like it jumped one of the hillsides as well. It's up to 575.5 acres. Still no known containment at this time. The Bear Gulch remains at 5% containment only. Hopefully expecting that number to go up considerably today. And if not today, then by the end of the week, it should definitely go up. Should. Wildcat fire down here. Most recent update has it at 11,624 acres. And has moved quite a ways to the northeast. It's not quite burning the area of Goose Prairie quite yet, but it is very close. So this is all a level 2 evacuation order here. It's probably a level 3 down here that I don't know about, but it doesn't show it right now. Yeah, the Labor Mountain. This is growing tremendously and is making quite a bit of eastward progress towards the town of Wenatchee right now. So we're hoping we can really knock this fire down over the next week. Because it's completely jumped US Highway 97 for several miles. And is quickly making its way east towards Wenatchee. And meanwhile, the lower Sugarloaf, it is at 32% containment, but is moving east and south at quite a rapid rate as well. So both of these fires are threatening the Wenatchee area. And some of the outlying parts of Kashmir have gone under level 3 evacuations. As of the last few days, I've been getting some of those alerts in. And then road number 19 here out of Entiac going up to Ferris. Believe some of these are under level 3s as well. This fire is right on the outskirts of this unincorporated community right here. Just continues marching southeast towards US 97. Sunny Slope area is definitely under threat if this thing doesn't get put out soon. Perry Fire, really haven't seen much from this. The last update was 2 weeks ago. And those thunderstorms that we got a couple weeks ago really helped with this fire. Like, it's already halfway contained, and probably more. We just haven't gotten updates on it. There is a fire up here that's been burning for a while. I've been keeping track of this for the last couple weeks. Red Mountain Fire is at 84.3 acres. No known containment at this time. The last update as of 2 days ago. Yeah, it's nearing Forest Service Road 49. This is southeast of Darrington. So it doesn't appear to be threatening any communities at this time. Ugh. Rattlesnake fires at 96% containment. Crown Creek's at 93. So you're getting really, really good fire containment here in Northeast Washington. There's also a few prescribed burns going on too. You know, there was one up here in Thurston County for a while as well. But it looks like they're no longer doing that burn. Flying in the SeaTac saw a warning that until 9:30 a.m. incoming flights were being held at source until the wind subsided. Glad now to be in the air and on time. That's a comment on Facebook. So someone's plane was being held up until the winds subsided. Okay, everyone viewing, do we have any more comments, questions, or concerns? I've seen the chat has really kind of subsided over the last 20 minutes or so. So if we have anyone that wants to get any topics going, feel free. I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you have. We got a 29-acre prescribed burn in the Cinnabar area. This is as of 2 days ago. And there was also this fire that was burning down here in Prairie Ridge yesterday. I was watching this as well. There's a fire that luckily only got up to 1 acre before it was knocked down. This is just off of Highway 162 in the hills of Prairie Ridge. So just outside of the town of South Prairie. Thankfully, crews got a hold of that quick, and it never grew to more than 1 acre. But yeah, in the meantime, expecting significant improvement to the Bear Gulch fire and its vicinity. Hopefully in the next few days or so. Let's go check air quality real quick around the area. It should be great around the area, which it looks like it is for the most part. I think the sensor's acting up. Kingston one's really been acting up, so I haven't been paying attention to that. But yeah, overall, air quality is doing really good around Western Washington. All right. Hey, Sherry, welcome to the YouTube live stream. Will there be thunder or lightning with this next system tomorrow? So, a small chance, but non-zero. Let me make sure I'm refreshed on all the new models real quick. We're going to go over the radar loop one more time. So this is this morning's frontal system. And I've been picking up on this. So he does show some stronger radar echoes here well off the coast tomorrow morning. This is the 11 a.m. And so I feel like the greatest chance of a thunder or lightning threat is going to be off the coast or on the immediate coastline. And it has multiple rounds because this storm system responsible for this is just going to be chilling off the coast for quite some time. Up to 36 to 48 hours, it's just going to be nearly stationary and just rotate these bands of showers around us. You can't see it real well because the NAM and all the high-res models cut off here. It's only supposed to show the lower 48 and the surrounding waters. Put this in the animation, you can really see the center of the spin off of Vancouver Island right here. And you notice how it doesn't move very much. Because the center is still only like right here. But the greatest storm chance does appear off the coast within these bands of showers here. So this is the main cold front coming in. And it spreads its showers, and then the rest of them are just going to be bands associated with the inner spin of this system. So this will definitely bring a renewed storm chance to the coast, but not much for inland areas. Although I will say, judging by how the models underperform the wind already north of the area, you know, there's really all possibilities are on the table right now. This could be an isolated thunderclap here too. This is Wednesday at 5 p.m. So this system is just gonna constantly rotate in showers and bring a chance of some blustery winds to the area as it nears closer. Through at least Wednesday night, going into Thursday morning. Let me switch this over to the HER real quick. Yeah, so depending on what the HER is showing, the HER shows a better chance of storms around the area, especially on the coast here. This would be tomorrow night at 10 p.m. So if this were to verify, I'd definitely be the one to look out west. Tuesday night and early Wednesday morning if you're still up. Let's look at flash intensity. You know, I wouldn't be so confident on the solution at the moment. This is definitely, if this solution does show up in future model runs, it's going to be a nowcast sort of hour by hour kind of situation. Where it's literally just going to be looking at the radar and predicting what happens. Because it's showing the best chance of seeing lightning flashes would be around 10 p.m. Tuesday night, so tomorrow night. It does have some of this activity moving into the Puget Sound as well. Then again, this is just one model run. And sometimes the HER does overdo it. So we'll have to be cautious about that. But the HER definitely shows more potent shower bands and some isolated thunderstorms embedded with some of these bands coming in. So this would be the initial front right here. This is noon tomorrow. So the initial front comes through, brings scattered showers, but fizzles out pretty quick. And then we have the post-frontal showers and possible storms coming in after the sun goes down. And then it even brings some of these possible embedded storms into the Seattle area as late as 1 to 2 a.m. Wednesday morning. And then continues for a number of hours. So the chance is definitely there. I'm not going to say zero. It's certainly non-zero. This is an experimental model that I don't use much. This is the model that's set to replace the NAM here in the next year or so. They're going to be decommissioning the NAM and enabling the RRFS experimental model here. This one goes out to 84 hours. See what it has to say for storms. It's a little less robust on storm activity, but it does still show these isolated little storm cells popping up around western Washington as we go into Wednesday morning. And it shows possibly multiple rounds of these showers and storms coming in too. Hoping for no thunder and lightning, I'm not a fan. Honestly, I don't blame you. You know, I'm a huge lover of thunder and lightning as long as it doesn't cause any damage. If it's a little harmless storm, you know, that doesn't produce fires, no power outages, no damage to houses or trees, then it's fine. I'll take it. But if you are a fan of storms, definitely root for the Her 3KM model for sure. Because this has the greatest potential for showers and thunderstorms, especially along the coast, late at night tomorrow. This is 10 p.m. on the model here. It's even showing the chance of some convective winds as well. So these would be the downdraft outflow style winds from the storms. Not necessarily from the low pressure itself, but from the actual line of storms. So some indication that we could see some stronger end cells through here as well. Showing some isolated wind gusts of 30 to 35 miles per hour directly within the band of showers here. We go a little back and forth action there. You can see it lines up pretty well right there. So, yeah, I mean, that's quite the impressive signal, but this is the main front itself. See, a wind gust of 67 miles per hour off the coast here. 53 at Quileute, 55 at Hurricane Ridge. And then, yeah, this is tomorrow at 5 p.m. Showing the wind gusts of 47 miles per hour here in Olympia. 43 here at Fort Lewis, 42 at JBLM, 42 Tacoma Narrows, 42 in Shelton. 46 to 49 out here in the open waters near San Juan Island. Be really interesting to see if this signal continues to be picked up in future model runs as well. That's really, really fascinating to me right there. Go check up on the station here. Okay, so we picked up a little more rain here at the nearby station. At 0.02 inches total, coming down at the lightest rate possible, 0.02 inches per hour. So currently up to 59 degrees, 97% humidity. Pressure's going up a little bit. It's right at around 1,000 millibars right now. Wind's been bouncing around quite a bit. Yeah, that's very interesting signal coming in from the Her. I'm definitely going to be waiting for the 18Z to come out. Because right now, the 13Z through the 16Z as seen here, these are the 18-hour models. So these only go out to 18 hours. The 0Z, 6Z, 12Z, and 18Z all go out to 48. What? Just seeing some absolute madness on Discord right now, so hang on, I'll be back. I got a video out of Belfair, someone showing some heavy rain. Okie doke. Alright. Alrighty. Try my best to not burn out my voice box today, like I usually do with longer streams. Okay, I'm gonna get up for a stretch break here for a second. So if you guys want to leave any more questions or comments, I'll get to them right after my break. Been sitting in a chair for a little over an hour now, so starting to tense up a little bit. So I'll be right back. Ooh, okay. Oh, yeah. There was a reported debris slide on Highway 161 near 176th Street East. I think that's somewhere down in Graham or South Hill. There was a report of debris on the road. Thankfully, they cleared it a minute ago. Probably associated with the rain. Because remember, the soil's dry. It's not going to absorb all the rain right away. So unfortunately, especially if it's hard clay soil, which is compacted, the water's just going to run right off. Okay, let's get something going here. Currently, 5 viewers, 8 likes. Yes, thank you guys again for liking the stream. Really helping me out big time. Ooh. How my elbow popped like 3 times. Yeah. Okie doke. Let's go look at a few more things here. See what the European has to say for lightning flashes. We're just getting the new 12Z in. See, it's just starting to render. So then, all right, Mama Miyamoto, hello, welcome back. I remember you from a previous stream. I think it was the thunderstorm stream that one night. Good morning, Anthony. You need a nap already? No. I'm feeling good overall. It's just body stiffness right now. It's just sitting down in a chair to start the morning is not really what I had planned, but still gonna take advantage of it to at least get the word out there and make sure I don't miss another briefing today. The European picking up on a few lightning flashes around the area. sometime Thursday afternoon. Picking up on quite a bit here in the southwest tomorrow at around 2 p.m., noon or so. I'll be interested to see what the new Euro does once it's done rendering. Yeah, it's very marginal according to the European. I'd say let's go back again and let's go see. Zoom out a little bit. I'm going to show you guys just how great the agreement is on these models. Like, the agreement on the system is next to incredible. You were yawning. That storm was fun to watch with you. Yeah, the thing about me is I yawn a lot. I don't really know what it's about. I've just always yawned a lot. I do have some history of anemia and hypoglycemia in my family, so that could have something to do with it as well. I've definitely been feeling symptoms a lot more recently. And that also adds to some of the reason why you haven't been seeing frequent briefings. Just because sometimes I'll wake up and I'll just have the spin head, you know, the vertigo. I'll just wake up and immediately get the spins. And then I know, okay, gotta drink some water, gotta eat some food, gotta take my multivitamins. That reminds me I still have to take those today. I take iron supplements. I take a number of things to help with it. But anyways, back to the models. So this is the 6Z, this is the 11 p.m. European. Still waiting for the 12Z to render. I don't have any frames yet. The 12Z is going to render out to 360 hours or 15 days. The 6Z and the 18Z ones only go out to 6 days. So this shows a 974 millibar low. This is tomorrow at 5 p.m. Just south of Haida Gwaii, west of Vancouver Island. Remaining nearly stationary until it starts to scoot east, and then it moves into northern, more so central Vancouver Island, and then starts to quickly diminish until it's nothing. And see, it's kind of got a little Fujiwara effect with itself, pretty much. See how it's got that little revolving motion, and then it goes almost stagnant. So we need to go back to when it peaks, somewhere right around there. Good to see you live again. Do you eat your veggies? I take supplements for veggies. Sometimes I eat my veggies, but yeah, I'm not good about physically eating my veggies. I'm great about eating my fruits though. You know, I love apples and bananas, and I eat those all the time. Just I'm being really careful with my pocket right now. Just because, you know, when it's something I didn't really want to have to explain on stream, but I will. I was talking about this earlier about how tight my finances are right now doing this full time. Yeah, September's been a really hard month on the pocket. So September's not going to yield much when it comes to taking care of finances. I'm looking forward to October though, especially if this storm train really turns on. Because then I know that the ratings will go way up. Because the ratings have been down historically for the month of September. And it's not looking good for doing this full time right now. I'd love to keep doing this full time, but I don't think it's going to be able to happen after October. Just because after this month, if nothing changes, it's going to be tapping into the emergency savings, and I don't want to do that. And me being the founder of Puget Sound Stormwatch, I want to make sure that I'm openly transparent with everybody. So by that, I mean, I want to make sure everybody knows what's going on behind the scenes, so that there's no confusion, no cause for concern. And I really, really do not want to have to get to the point where I have to ask for help. But I would like to thank that one subscriber that just subscribed. So thank you very much for that. That means we're at 463 subs and counting. We're also getting really close to 24K on Facebook. The increase in followers has been down like considerably. Like just looking at my stats right now, I'm down 78% in the last 28 days. On September 25th, I only gained 3 followers. So I gained 45 yesterday, 14 on the 27th, 7 on the 26th, 3 on the 25th, 6 on the 24th. You know, ever since that one initial push to get to 23K, like the viewership's been terrible. And I do take a lot of the blame for that, because I've been going through a lot of mental health issues as well. You know, I thought maybe that by doing this full time, it would help to alleviate some of those. But boy, was I wrong. It was quite the opposite, actually. Just trying to get, just trying to get through this without help, basically. But wow, I went way off on a tangent here, didn't I? So, yeah, so this is the European artificial intelligence model. Shows a very similar story here. Then the GFS. And then the Canadian. See how there's hardly any change to that storm track or intensity? The storm's in roughly the exact same spot at almost the exact same intensity at the exact same time. So this is still tomorrow at 5 p.m. Whew. Yeah, and I do appreciate your support. Thank you, Mama Miyamoto, for being a supporter to the channel. Thank you very much. Yeah, it truly means a lot. And then the ensembles also show pretty good agreement as well. This is the European ensemble. Has a 980 millibar low here in the exact same spot at the exact same time. And then this is the AI ensemble. Exact same strength, but a few miles to the west. GFS ensemble. 1 millibar lower in pressure, so stronger. And a little bit farther south of what it was showing. Like by a few miles. Then the Canadian now, the new Canadian's kind of shoving it way off to the west. But we were having really good agreement on this for quite some time. It looks like the Canadian's starting to go off on a little bit of a tangent now. That might have just been the new model run coming in and not being rendered yet. Yeah, because so the new Canadian ensemble's coming in and it's messing with the results. We have to go to the last one, but the last one does show the same story. 981 millibar low near Haida Gwaii, northern Vancouver Island. Taking nearly the exact same track as all of the other deterministics and ensemble models. So really impressive agreement the last few days on this system here. Be interesting to see what the satellite looks like as it develops too. So we're out to 48 hours now on the European. So now we can do comparisons between the last previous runs. So 12Z on the left, 6Z on the right. Looks like it has it just a tad bit weaker. Yeah, so this is the old one, this is the new one. Has it just a little bit weaker, but maybe a little bit farther to the east. By maybe a couple miles or so. And then this is as far as it goes. So still pretty good agreement between the two runs of the European. Has the low in almost the exact same place at the same time. It's just a tad bit weaker by 2 millibars on the newest model run of the European. So interesting development there. See what it starts showing for wind around here. So we're not far enough in time yet to see the new wind readings. But if we do go and see what it has so far. So far, it has a max wind gust of 36 miles per hour for SeaTac, 51 miles per hour for Hurricane Ridge, 55 to 60 off the coast here, and some areas of 35 to 40 here in the river valleys, and some locally higher gusts here in the Salish Sea region. This has 41 for parts of Whidbey, 34 miles per hour for Everett, 36 for the Tacoma area. And this is before the storm system makes its closest approach. So we're still waiting for that data to come in. And it looks like now we're out to 56 hours. So it definitely showing it picking up down here in the Nisqually Valley, the Chehalis Valley, and parts of the Cowlitz as well. This is at 1 p.m. on Wednesday. Has quite a number of hours here of sustained wind gusts in the 40 mile per hour range near San Juan Island and Whidbey Island. This would be in the morning time Wednesday going through the afternoon time. Hey. Let's refresh this one more time, see how far we can go out. Yeah, so we can, so far on an hourly basis, go out to 56 hours. Gotta wait a little bit for the 18Z NAM to come out. But that's going to be a few hours or so, so probably won't be on here during that time. Unless the viewership hangs around for a while. But this is what the high-res models were showing. So this is the NAM 3KM. So in a lot of areas of 50 plus out here in the San Juan Islands, the northern flank of the Olympics and the coast and immediate coastline, some areas, so the lighter green contours here are 40 plus mile per hour wind gusts, about 40 to 45 miles per hour. A lot of that around the inner waters and parts of the southwest interior downstream from the Nisqually River Valley. So the Nisqually, the Cowlitz, and parts of the Chehalis. So this would be 43 miles per hour for Centralia Chehalis, 42 miles per hour max for Olympia, 40 miles per hour max for Bremerton. And then, little interesting development I saw earlier, looking at the HER 3KM, 12Z. Definitely has some isolated higher wind gusts for some of these little river valleys out here. So this would be for south of the Nisqually. This would be for the Cowlitz and Toutle River area. And then the Chehalis outflow from the Willapa Hills. It will have most of this activity Tuesday afternoon, so tomorrow afternoon. Yeah, you called it. There's the yawn. Truth is, I'm just always tired. Yeah, so we still got a ways to go before we start getting the sun breaks here. As you'll get the sun breaks popping up behind this front. Then you'll also get the unstable air mass that could bring isolated storms, especially to the coast. It's mainly just going to be those hit or miss style showers. And I'm not seeing a really good signal for a convergence zone. Probably just because we're going to be getting a front immediately after this as well. You can really start to see this system undergoing cyclogenesis. It's got a clear as day baroclinic leaf here right now, which is exactly what it looks like. It's shaped like a leaf. This is one of the first stages of cyclogenesis going on right here. So this should eventually turn into a really beautiful looking cyclone on satellite imagery. And I will 100% for sure be posting that to my page on Facebook. And I'll definitely post it to Patreon as well. So, yeah, just as a heads up for everybody, I do have the Patreon page fully established. I'd like to give a thanks to my subscriber, Lisa Seckler, for being the first paid subscriber to the Patreon page, which means they get full access to all of the in-depth write-ups and extended forecasts, such as this one here. This is one of the locked ones. Just giving you guys a quick preview of all of this right now. So these are all public. This one's public. This one's one of the locked ones. So this was yesterday. Talked about the impressive model agreement between the ensembles. So it's a hybrid of free public write-ups as well as the exclusive subscriber write-ups as well. And if you're already subscribed on Facebook, you don't have to subscribe again on Patreon. It's going to be the exact same thing. See, it's got a pretty good combination of the public write-ups. So all of my write-ups on Facebook will be cross-posted to Patreon. So if you don't have Facebook, don't worry. You can still see all of my write-ups here on Patreon as well. And the link is in the description for that. Very commonoso now, Drizzle. Hung some more rain tarps for the chickens. Thank you for everything. Yes, I was very happy I was able to warn you and help you out. Then let me post a few other things as well. Okay, so I did get that from James Alexander. So shout out to James Alexander for his donation of 4 coffees. We are now up to 9 coffees total. Thank you again. Shout out goes to Sherry Wilcox and James Alexander. Wouldn't be able to do this without you guys. Helps a lot. Also have the Stormwatch store as well. Don't currently have any sales going on, but still got affordable competitive prices on everything. Came out with the new design about a week and a half ago or so. Eat, sleep, Stormwatch, repeat. Will probably, depending on how things go and if I get any feedback on this, probably be refining this design a little bit. It might be a little bit too plain for what I'm looking for, but just depends on the feedback I get. We got a lot of designs going here right now. And I'm completely open to input as well. More than happy to take any constructive criticism I can get. So this is the newest her 18-hour run coming in. This is the 16Z. So the 10 a.m. run hasn't started yet, but the 9 a.m. run is fully initialized. This has the Tacoma area getting wind gusts in the 25 to 30 mile per hour range as soon as the next half hour, if this were to verify. But not a single model has picked up on that 51-mile-per-hour wind gust here at Whidbey Naval Air Station this morning. Confirmed 51-mile-per-hour wind gust here in Whidbey Island earlier this morning. About 3 hours ago, give or take. Hang on, guys. Let me move this to another tab real quick. I'm gonna see if I can get signed back onto my Windy. Turns out I had my account linked, and then it unlinked on this computer. I'm going to try to relink it, so I don't get all of these pop-ups and restrictions on it. Nope, that was not it. I have the wrong email address. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I had the wrong email. So now all the restrictions are gone. Thankfully, get access to all my high-res maps on Windy. Yeah. We are back in business. So let's go and play this back from the last 6 hours or so. We'll be watching this area right here, if it decides to load. Yeah, so this is our current system. And this appears to be the developing system in the baroclinic leaf phase. So we'll be watching this leaf start to tighten up, get a bent back occlusion that looks kind of like this. This is what we call a sting jet right here. So it'll start to develop more cyclone characteristics as it gets closer. And it looks like it's pushing close to bomb cyclone status. It just depends on how quickly the pressure falls over a 24-hour period. Yeah, I got to zoom out a little farther. Not that far. Okay, so we're currently out to 111 hours, which is more than enough on here. Watching this little area for development up here. Yeah, it just depends on what the pressure is right down there at that time. Because 977 here, then if we go back to hour 0, it's really hard to determine what the pressure is. Because if it's 1001 millibars or weaker, like anything higher than 1001 millibars, then we can consider this a bomb cyclone. But it doesn't look like that's the case. Looks like it's still hanging around 992. So definitely increases in strength rapidly, but not quite bomb cyclone status. And it plays out very similar, if not the exact same, compared to what the previous run is showing. Oh, this was where it cut off earlier, hour 54. Yeah, it shows it weaker at most points. It has it landfalling in almost the exact same spot. So really, really good agreement between the different runs on the European deterministic. It's pretty much the exact same, minus a few differences here and there. Such as peak intensity. So on the old run, we have 974 millibars, and the new run, 977. So 3 millibars weaker on the new run. And now we're close enough to see strongest winds around the area. So, at least according to the lower resolution European, not showing much of a difference from earlier. Some areas of 40 plus here in Whatcom County, Skagit County, parts of the Nisqually, Cowlitz, and Chehalis river valleys, getting 35 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts. It shows 38 in Olympia, 38 in Chehalis, 38 in Bremerton, 37 down here at JBLM, 36 at SeaTac. It has most of these wind gusts occurring sometime between 5 p.m. and 11 p.m. tomorrow afternoon, if this were to verify. So it looks like can't really tell if rain showers are diminishing or if it's just going into a radar hole. Okay. There we go. So still scattered showers around the area. Some heavier showers here over the Kitsap Peninsula, parts of Island County, northwestern Whatcom County, parts of the Olympics. Still getting showers over the Bear Gulch fire as well. That's really helping our case. But we're not seeing too much over the Labor Mountain or Lower Sugarloaf fires. So we may have to wait till tomorrow or Wednesday to get some of that beneficial precip over those fires. Oh yeah, there's the yawn again. Yeah, so at least for my area, looks like the models have sort of underperformed the rainfall amounts. You guys kept track on Facebook. I've been updating the predicted rainfall amounts as we go on in time. It did show kind of a wide rain shadow over the area a few runs ago. Let me see if I can pull that up here real quick. Yeah, so right here in this Patreon post, it showed a large elongated rain shadow over this area. And in a recent update, it closed off some of those amounts over here and really reduced this rain shadow to parts of Island County, and parts of Qualam and Jefferson counties. Calm and warm. Yeah, so it's starting to look like maybe that initial guesstimate for rainfall amounts might have been right. We're really not seeing much for rainfall here around the Central Sound. Like at my station, I'm only at 0.03 inches right up the road from here. If we go back to that, showing somewhere around 0.08 to 0.1 inches total for my area. Just, I think the explanation for that is we just had too much dry air really ahead of this frontal system. And it just evaporated a lot of the rain before it could saturate that low level boundary layer. The layer of the atmosphere closest to the surface. I think that's why I think the models just severely underdid the amount of dry air that we had in place. Let's see what the experimental has to show for winds. Yeah, definitely shows southerlies picking up tomorrow afternoon. Strong sustained southerlies. 15 to 20 miles per hour around this area, but locally higher as you go north. So we're looking at quite a blustery day for the northwest interior and the surrounding waters tomorrow for sure. And then even Wednesday afternoon as well, showing another blustery day in store. It will be interesting to see how that really turns out. Yeah, if we go out in the fantasy land here on the GFS, shows another decent blow for us. Take this with a grain of salt, but it shows another decent little wind event for us. Between 11 p.m. on the 13th and 5 a.m. on the 14th of October. But we're way out in the fantasy land here, so we'll take this with a grain of salt. Starting to see the clouds lighten up outside a bit. Let's see what it shows for pressure here. Might be this little closed low coming in, maybe. No, actually, a little system comes in from Canada. At least that's what it's predicting right now. But if you guys want active weather, definitely stick to the GFS. The GFS is shown here, the American model is going really robust on active weather over the next 2 weeks or so. Be raking leaves, yes, and they may be wet leaves, unfortunately. Probably not going to be dry leaves. Okay, so the European rendered out to 330 hours now. Not showing the same story as the GFS. But you see here, after this, the European shows quite a bit of a ridge signal here popping up off the coast. See an area of surface high pressure here. So we might have another round of nice, drier weather during the first week of October. Be interesting to see how that turns out. No, not even remotely close to the Columbus Day storm. That was probably a 1 in 100 year event. We're still looking for our next big windstorm since the Hanukkah Eve storm in 2006. You know, we've had a few decent ones, and I'm talking regional, widespread, like textbook thunderstorm. So not the bomb cyclone last year. That doesn't really count because that was confined to a few local areas up in the foothills. But I'm talking about a regional, destructive windstorm like back in 2006. Of course, the three big ones I can think of are 62, 93, and 06. Columbus Day, Inauguration Day, and Hanukkah Eve. Those are the three textbook windstorms that we've had in the Pacific Northwest. And yeah, showing a ridge signal all the way out into the second week of October, but then it wants to bring this deep upper level trough in. I just noticed it skipped a whole 48 hours there for some reason. But it wants to bring this monstrous upper level trough in. But yeah, 62 is probably a storm that a lot of us will never see again in our lifetimes. Like, I only barely remember the '06 windstorm because I had just turned 7 about a month before it. Huh, interesting. It's got a new development here on the convective outlooks. Let me pull the screen up real quick. So this is the Storm Prediction Center Day 2 outlook. So this is tomorrow. It outlines part of the Washington coast and about half of the Olympic Peninsula in the risk for general thunderstorms. So no severe thunderstorms. It's just a risk of, like, a very small risk of thunderstorms over the coast. So deep upper low will exist off the coast of British Columbia, with a large area of cyclonic flow aloft encompassing much of the western states. It really just talks about the Rockies here, not really this part of the coast. Then, similar story for day 3, except it includes the Seattle and Portland metro areas. So it's as a modest residual mid-level cool pool migrates inland, it may contribute to sufficient destabilization for scattered weak thunderstorm activity west of the Cascades and farther inland across parts of the northern Intermountain region. So, in here. Yeah, I've heard quite a number of stories from '06. I remember living in a duplex and having power lines hanging down over the road. My little brother, who was only 1 at the time, was at daycare. I remember it was a struggle trying to get him across the street because there were power lines hanging right above my parents' heads. Couldn't get any vehicles in or out because the active lines were arcing on the road. I mean, it was definitely like living a real life horror story. So, yeah, so parts of the area, parts of Western Washington are in the day 2 and day 3 thunderstorm outlooks now. So, little bit of a higher confidence now that we do have a thunderstorm chance, particularly west of the Cascades, as far out as Wednesday. We go to day 1, it doesn't have any risk. So day 2 and day 3. Let's go check out the lightning flash rates on here. Yeah, that's a pretty good signal right there. Pretty good signal for lightning here. So this is showing some lightning flashes possibly being seen in the area Wednesday at 2 p.m. as that storm system really starts to get closer to the coast. shows activity as early as 11 a.m. on Wednesday. And only has it hanging on for a few hours. Look at the 6-hour average. Yeah. Shows the greatest activity being over Mason and Kitsap counties between 11 a.m. on Wednesday and 5 p.m. on Wednesday. Yeah, we definitely have supportive K indices. So this is just a composite measure of thunderstorm potential. And really anything over a 30, so anything greater than a yellow, is sufficient for a thunderstorm activity. It is showing a lot of that, especially over parts of the Key Peninsula as well. Kitsap County, you said 11 a.m. until... So probably 11 a.m. till 5 p.m. has the greatest chance of thunderstorms for your area. Yeah, it's a really rough one. Yeah, one of my viewers, Julie, was just saying, parents just bought a house in Seattle and a tree came down over my bedroom. Ooh. Yeah, that's really rough. Yeah, it's showing sufficient surface-based Cape values. So this is another measure of thunderstorm potential. And it does show, yeah, the greatest values over this area, anywhere between about 150 to 330 or so joules per kilogram of Cape by about 5 p.m. on Wednesday. So definitely supportive of isolated storm activity around this area. Okay, 17Z starting to render. But for any new viewers, I was watching this about an hour ago or so, 45 minutes ago. This is the 12Z, so the 5 a.m. run of the HER 3KM. It is showing a lot of robust cell activity off the coast, moving onto the coast, and even giving us a stray chance of lightning around the Seattle area. This is as early as 1 a.m. on Wednesday. It's almost certain this won't verify exactly as it's shown. The models will certainly change in this time. So it likely won't play out exactly as is. But we can use this as a baseline of what to expect later on down the road. So it has some activity making landfall here around 6 p.m. tomorrow. Now I should mention, due to the robust shear, like the swirling winds, changing winds with height, that is textbook to these low pressure systems off the coast. There is for sure going to be a chance of water spouts off the coast with some of these cells, because of how much low level shear we usually get with these areas of low pressure. And you can see this main area, main spin right here. It's just got multiple bands of showers and thunderstorms moving in. So this is the main front. It even has some embedded storms within the front. See, it's got all these little embedded squalls, especially down here near Oregon. So this is probably your best chance to see any waterspout activity is within these little squalls within the spin-ups. And some of these squalls try to make it onto the southern Washington coast as well. Just impressed by how much the HRRR is showing for this area. And the NAM, on the other hand, doesn't show nearly as much activity. Has the activity much more isolated and weaker than what the HRRR 3Cam is showing. Still does kind of show this embedded squall activity, so we will have to watch that carefully. This is the forecast for tomorrow at 11 a.m. for the area. Has several little embedded squalls trying to make landfall. I wouldn't be surprised at all to hear one or two little waterspout reports way off the coast here. And I gotta wait a little bit longer for the next run of the NAM 3KM to initialize. Yes, and Sherry, you're very welcome. Okay, everyone, do we have any more questions, comments, or concerns for the chat? See, there's 9 of you on here right now. Hello and welcome. Those of you just joining in, my name's Anthony. I'm the host and founder of Puget Sound Stormwatch. I'm on Facebook, YouTube, Blue Sky, Twitter, Patreon, etc. Just going over a little Q&A session for the incoming weather coming up the next couple days. Getting a lot of questions about wind speeds, rain totals, the chance for thunderstorms, etc. So answering those to the best of my ability. If you'd like to post any questions that you want to have answered, please do so at this time. More than welcome to answer them. So it looks like just got an update for the Lower Sugarloaf fire. This is the one burning to the northwest of Wenatchee right now, stretching down towards Highway 97. Looks like the containment's been bumped up to 38% from 32% by the looks of it. So that's a really good sign to see. Unfortunately, it's still getting closer to some populated areas. Not great news there. All right, we are at 23,851 followers on Facebook. So 149 followers away from 24K. Big time news. So it looks like most of the heaviest precip has moved out of the Seattle area at the moment. A little more precip coming up from the south. And then really after that, the front passes over, the back end of the front. But as you see, there won't be very much spare time between fronts. As the sun's really starting to rise on this baroclinic leaf out here. Be interested to see which area undergoes the most rapid development. Because I like to say it looks like this area is already getting the spin to it, but this is the baroclinic leaf. See, there's a clear as day baroclinic leaf out there. This is undergoing. This is excuse me. This is undergoing extreme cyclogenesis way out here. Almost looking like the spin's trying to take over here. A little bit difficult to tell at this time. I think it's possible that this may be the area of interest out here. But whatever happens, one of these two areas is going to turn into a textbook mid-latitude cyclone in the next 24 hours. It's going to be a really, really impressive looking satellite off the coast once this is all said and done. We just have to wait for this front to get through first. Take another stretch break. Be right back. Okay, there we go. Let me just get comfortable here for a second. Interestingly enough, there's a looks like a newer page called Olympic Rain Shadow. No, not a newer page. They're an older page, but they haven't started posting again until recently. And for the first time in almost 3 years, just shared my post. It's like maybe they're trying to get their page reestablished. Yeah, really interesting climatological site there. Yeah, just saw a stat from a local meteorologist saying that parts of the coast have already eclipsed 2 inches of rain, while we've only gotten a few hundredths to a tenth of an inch around the Seattle area. It's exactly why Washington State has the only rainforest in the lower 48. The whole rainforest. Let's actually pull up some of those observations real quick. Okay, so this is precip since midnight. So yeah, really only just in the hundredths range for a lot of the Puget Sound. Oh yeah, actually this is 1 hour. Never mind. So we'll need to go to 12 hours since midnight. There we go. Much better. Much better. So 0.06 inches here at SeaTac Airport. 0.07 at Boeing Field. A little over a quarter inch down here in Olympia. About 0.4 of an inch just outside of Capitol Peak. Half an inch in Ocean Shores. And yeah, sure enough, 1.8 inches here in Olympic National Park. It's interesting here. 0.16 in the areas directly around the Bear Gulch fire. But meanwhile, 0.6 to 0.8 inches right around it. I think one of those gauges is probably acting up. 1.87 down here in Quinault. 2.24 inches southern Vancouver Island. So yeah, these are 12-hour precipitation totals around the area. Let's do max wind gusts today. So here's that 51 that we had earlier. They have 51 out here, 39, 30, 36, 30, 35 out here in Bellingham. So 36 up here in the mountains. Yeah, not much going on around the Central or South Sound. I have 39 out here. I think this is James Island. Nope, this is Destruction Island. Okay. 25 out here at the buoy. 36. Tokeland. Yeah, temperatures hanging around the 50s to 60s around much of the area. Definitely feels like a fall day so far. Extremely Yeah, extremely humid out there too. Dew points in the 50s to 60s. The current wind last updates gusting to 31 out here in Whitby. Yeah, and then I just switched to 24-hour precip totals. Yeah, 2 inches at Quileute, 2.2 inches Forks, 2.38 way up here in the mountains, 2.22 in Quinault. This is only showing zero point 0.2 inches for the Bear Gulch, but still higher around it. So it's starting to look like some of the initial model runs were right with that huge rain shadow over the area. Appears to be verifying so far. Yeah. So Tacoma area, you're getting a break from the rain right now. Probably for another hour to hour and a half, you'll be getting a break from rain for a bit. Still seeing some heavier areas of rain around the North Sound, moving into the Bellingham area right now. All right, chat. Any questions, comments, or concerns from anybody who's still viewing? See, there's 6 of you on right now. For anyone just tuning in, we're just looking at some radar, some models, and some surface observations so far. Otherwise, I'm going to begin to wrap things up here in a little bit. I've been streaming for almost 2.5 hours now. All right, so most recent run of the Herth 3KM has the back edge of precip. Moving out of the area sometime between 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. tonight. And then just some spotty showers behind that. I'll be watching these model runs real closely. So I'll be posting updates to Facebook and Patreon in a little bit as well. After the stream's wrapped up, I'll be getting ready to make some posts onto Facebook and Patreon. Okay, everyone, barring any last minute questions or concerns, I'm going to go ahead and begin to wrap things up for the morning. I'd like to give a huge thanks to everyone that tuned in for today's stream, everyone that liked it, shared it, anyone that subscribed to the channel, thank you very much. And shout out to James Alexander for his donation of 4 coffees. I do have this site up here, coffee.com. I posted it in the comments earlier. Shout out to Sherry Wilcox 12 days ago for donating 5 coffees. Shout out to James Alexander in the last hour for donating another 4 coffees. So thank you both. Very much appreciative of you guys. I couldn't be able to do this full time without you. Hoping I can maintain doing this full time through October. Unfortunately, things are getting pretty tight right now. And I'm not sure how long I'll be able to keep doing this, if that makes sense. I would like to be able to keep doing this indefinitely, but finances are just not working out in my favor. Okay, Sherry says, thank you for all your info and time today. Yes, thank you again, Sherry. Thank you again for everything. What's crazy is too is I'm almost to 24K on Facebook, right? If 1/8 of my followers donated $1 a month to the Facebook page. So if 3,000 people subscribed to the Facebook page for 99 cents a month, I wouldn't have to worry about any of this. I'd be able to do all of this full time, still be able to afford all of the gas and the replacement parts for my vehicle. Just go out to the coast and chase all the time. Go out to the coast, go to the mountains, drive up north, and so on. Unfortunately, I'm just really bounded by tight finances right now. And I just wish that I would be able to have the time and the money to be able to go out and about more often. So right now, I'm kind of stuck local at the moment. But, that's okay because then I can do more live commentary streams like this. Keep getting news updates on my Echo. But, yeah, so that's just my spiel that I have for today. I do appreciate everyone that took the time to listen. I like to be transparent with my audience to make sure that they know what I know so that there's no cause for concern. No alarms raised, none of that. So I do appreciate everyone for tuning in sincerely. I think it's going to be about time to wrap things up for the day. Will the weather station be helpful here in Oso? It depends on if you have any nearby stations. So let me go check out. Let me go to the weather under map real quick. I'm gonna check out some of the stations in your area. We'll see if you have any stations nearby in Oso. Because if you live farther upstream in Oso, I could definitely see you benefiting from getting a weather station and putting it on the network. There's, yeah, it's pretty hit or miss here in the Oso area. So, yeah, I'd say for regional observations, a weather station would be helpful up in the Oso area. There's a lot of the area here from Highway 530 between Darrington and Oso that does not have any personal weather station coverage whatsoever. Now you see as you get down into the metro area, it's ridiculously overcovered. Then as you get up into the high terrain, it's pretty far and few. So I'd say yes, +1 to a weather station. Trust me, the benefits outweigh the doubts, without a doubt. Okay, time is 11:29 a.m. See if there's any new developments on here real quick. Doesn't look like very much. 18Z still hasn't started rendering yet, so be posting an update on that on Facebook and Patreon coming soon. Still no updates to the winds. It appears the newest HER 3 cam has downtrended on winds quite a bit. You had areas of 30 to 35 down here. Those are gone. But I'll really have to wait because this doesn't go out to the next frontal system. It's only for the initial frontal system. So have to wait for the 18Z to start rendering in the next hour or so. And then I can get a better picture of what's going on for the next front coming in. Because right now I don't have very much to look at for that. For now, I'm going to say South Sound, enjoy your little break. The little more rain coming behind that. It should be a little bit before the back edge of this front passes through. And then, once this page unfreezes, we'll be watching this area here for cyclogenesis in the coming hours. Yeah, I think the page is broken. Okay, everybody. So I'm going to wrap things up for today. Thank you all again for tuning in. With 13 total likes, average view duration of 6 minutes, definitely higher than average. Oh, thank you guys. Couldn't have done it without all of you. This is Anthony with Puget Sound Stormwatch, Facebook, YouTube, Patreon, Blue Sky, etc.